Hello everybody, and welcome to another playthrough of Commands and Colors Ancients, of course. And today we are continuing with the Sertorian War over in Hispania. And for today's battle we'll be looking at Lauron 76 BC, which is about 4 years after the last one we did, Baitis River. I think that was 80 BC. So 4 years approximately had passed, where the Sertorians were pretty successful. If you remember the last one, Sertorius were fighting against, what is his name, Lucius Fufidius. So he wasn't really able to cope with Sertorius. They did some changes here in the administration of the Hispanian colonies, or what is called, not regions, but yeah, you get it. The Romans did some administrative changes there to give a bit more authority to bring in higher ranked officers and troops here. So they eventually brought in a guy called Metellus, who fought a series of battles against Sertorius between these years, and but it didn't really help the Romans or the Sullan part, because Sertorius was pretty successful. He was pushing back the Romans all the time and getting greater and greater control of Hispania at this point of time. He was also enjoying seeing his army ranks swell, because more and more of the Hispanian inhabitants joined his ranks, basically. So the Romans were pretty in a bad position here, and Metellus, he had a hard time to cope with Sertorius. I mean, he used this guerrilla warfare, just disturbing his supply lines and all that, and he couldn't really cope with that. I mean, Metellus couldn't, right? So he was all the time on the defense. He had to retreat. Sertorius gained more and more ground. He get more and more support, more and more troops. So things were not looking good for the Romans at this point. And when we come to 76 BC, I would say most of Hispania was on Sertorius' side, but mostly on the eastern shore there were some cities still, loyal to the Romans. And Lauron was one of those cities on the eastern coast of Hispania, pretty much in the middle of the, if you imagine the Spanish coastline from north to south, pretty close to Valencia, which is actually the next battle we'd look at next time. Anyway, so Metellus couldn't cope with that. So the Romans decided to, or maybe before I mention what the Romans did, I mentioned that Sertorius had his army rank swelled by troops from Spain, right? And he also had his veterans from before, and he had troops from Africa, Lusitanians, a lot of different people in his army. He also got one more big addition to his army, and it's an interesting guy here called Perpenna. So he was he was actually, I think he fought in the civil wars against Sulla back in the days on the Marian side or the Popularis side, and I think he also actually at one point were the governor of Sicily. But after they lost the war, the Sullans were to reconquer all the places where that were still under Marian control, like Hispania, where we are looking at the Sertorian War, but also Sicily. So Pompey was actually sent there, and I think the story went that Perpenna really didn't see a chance to fight with Pompey. He brought loads of veterans. Perpenna hadn't really anything to put against his army, so he fled. Also, I think it was a year or two perhaps before the Battle of Lauron. I think it might have been in 78 BC. There was a rebellion, an uprising in Italy proper, actually, against the Optimates, or Sullan party if you want, or Romans if you want. And Perpenna was among the rebels there. Anyway, there was a big battle there, and unfortunately for Perpenna and his guys, they lost. So he had to flee again. I think he fled to Sardinia at that point of time, and he also got a good bunch of an army with him. And he also, I believe, at that point also had kind of refugees with him. I mean, like nobles that were on the popular side, that were more or less expelled from Rome, from the Optimates part. Anyway, word of the Sertorius' successes in Hispania had reached Perpenna and his army. And since things were not going that well for Perpenna, and actually Pompey was after him again, he tried to find him to bring up another battle against Perpenna to crush him. And Perpenna was fleeing, and I think the morale was pretty low at that point in his army, of course. So his troops pretty much demanded from Perpenna that, hey, either you take the army now and we leave for Italy. Because, yeah, I could mention that Pompey had at that point also started to march towards Hispania, because he got orders from the Senate to attack Sertorius. So Perpenna's troops said, okay, either you take your army, meaning us, and march to Hispania as well, and we join ranks with Sertorius and let him take command, or if you refuse, we will basically leave you and join Sertorius anyway. So Perpenna had really no choice. He had to, conform to what they said, and he marched to Hispania, managed to get to Sertorius, and they joined ranks. So Sertorius got lots of reinforcements, and also he got these nobles who were on the popular side, who could join him. And actually, as the text here says, Sertorius then established a government in exile, creating a senate of 300 of the outlawed Roman nobles. So he pretty much created his own senate over in Hispania, acting as the legal government there, which is pretty cool, I think. We could also mention about this Perpenna. Later on, he pretty much got jealous of Sertorius. I mean, he really went with Sertorius' campaigns during this war. He was pretty much always with him, or Sertorius let him had his own, lead his own campaigns when they had to split armies. So he was pretty important here in the war. But still, all the time, he was jealous of Sertorius, and he held a grudge against him also, that his troops were kind of more loyal to him than, or more loyal to Sertorius than himself. The troops that he brought with him from Italy. So eventually, if we fast forward a few years forward, Perpenna was actually the one who ordered the assassination of Sertorius. So they were kind of allies, but at the same time, Perpenna was Sertorius' worst enemy. I mean, more than the Romans actually at this point. Anyway, you cannot deny that he was an important leader also in the Sertorian War actually. So kind of a, how do you say it? I don't know. He was both for good and bad for Sertorius at this point. Okay, so we know that Pompey, that is Gnaeus Pompeius Magnus, were on his way to Hispania to challenge Sertorius and help Metellus, who was already there in place, that I mentioned earlier, with an own army. So Sertorius had a plan at that point. He knew Pompey was coming, and he knew there were some cities that he saw as not loyal to him. They should be loyal to him and not the Romans. So he wanted to go to Lauron and punish there for their loyalty against Rome. So he wanted to go there and besiege that town pretty much and punish them. Yeah. At the same time, he also wanted to get there because if he would reach the coast and the city of Lauron, he would place himself between Metellus and Pompey, because he was afraid that Pompey and Metellus would, join their armies, and then they were really big and could, for sure, challenge Sertorius big time. I mean, Pompey brought about 30,000 infantry and 1,000 cavalry with him, so it was a substantial army, and that was not green troops. It was mostly, battle-hardened veterans from the Sulan Wars he brought with him. So it was a real threat, of course. Pompey knew about this as well. So, that Sertorius was heading towards Lauron. So Pompey went towards Lauron as himself as well, because he thought, he was, as also it says here, he was arrogant and ambitious. And that really shows in this battle, because he wanted to go and meet Sertorius himself, more or less, crush him, and by that end the war, and he would get all the glory himself, and Metellus none, right? He was really eager to get, as he said, he's pretty much so ambitious here, so it's almost crazy. Instead of fighting with good odds, you rather do it and join ranks with another army. You want to do it yourself and get all the glory, but with a higher risk, of course. So the thing is, though, that Sertorius reached Lauron first. He started to lay siege on the city. Shortly thereafter, Pompeius arrived, and he was happy. He saw Sertorius was in place. He saw that Lauron was under siege. That could mean even more glory for him to relieve the siege of Lauron, right? So he placed his camp pretty close to Sertorius' camp, just to provoke to provoke a battle, because that's what Pompey wanted at this point of time. So they were camping close to each other. Sertorius, true to his tactics, he started some kind of a guerrilla warfare here. He started to harass Pompey's foraging parties, hindering them from getting supplies. So Pompey was pretty much disturbed by that. So he actually moved his foraging parties to other areas instead of being the vicinity of Sertorius. And that was exactly what Sertorius wanted, because by bringing these foraging parties away, Pompey also kind of lost his eyes on the movements of Sertorius. So Sertorius took advantage of that. He moved a big troop, or big kind of corps, over to the mountains here, as you can see here, under Hereinus. It says here there's 6,000 forces here. I think I read that there were also cavalry here, but it's nothing I can see here in the setup of this battle, though. Because I think there was a lot of cavalry riding in the rear of Pompey's army when the real action started, actually. But I don't know why. And also I read that there were lots of veterans here. We have warrior troops here, which is pretty interesting. I don't really know how the scenario designer ended up with this composition here with warriors and auxilia and lights, actually. But nevertheless, Sertorius placed a big bunch of troops there. Now, the day of the battle came. Pompey was sure to win. He saw that he could, squeeze Sertorius' army between Lauron and his army. They were pretty much trapped between the city and his army, and he was really happy about that. So he even sent a messenger to the city of Lauron, telling the inhabitants there to celebrate, go up to the walls, and watch him crush Sertorius outside the walls. And so they did. The people were checking out the battle, anticipating an easy victory for Pompey. So Pompey started to move towards Sertorius. At that point of time, Hereinus launched his ambush. So he attacked from the rear suddenly, bringing panic. And that's not all. At that point of time, also Perpenna launched his cavalry force. So there was a kind of a hammer and an anvil thing happening here, bringing just chaos to Pompey's troops. They started to retreat, and I think there was pretty much a rout even after, because as I read, there was some 10,000 Pompeian troops killed this day. So there must have been a really slaughter here. So I think it might have been a pretty quick affair when it started to go southwards for the Pompeian army here. So he managed anyway to kind of retreat parts of his army with in a good order back to his camp where they were kind of protected, but he couldn't really do anything from there, as he was in a great disarray and a lot of casualties. So he pretty much just had to watch and see how the siege of Lauron was successful, and Sertorius actually burned the town to, he burned it down basically as an example, as a punishment for these guys being loyal to Romans and not him. So that's pretty much the short story about this battle. And I think there's actually two different, contemporary, maybe not contemporary, but at least two ancient sources describing this battle. But as I said, there are some differences from what I read and what I see here, but about the composition of these guys, and also I think the names of and events here. But nevertheless, here's the setup of the battle, and here is what we want to play at least. So if you look at the War Council, we see the Sertorian army having Quintus Sertorius as their leader. They will have 6 command cards and they will move first. The Roman army under Pompey or Gnaeus Pompeius Magnus, they will have 5 command cards. Will battle till one side gets 7 banners. Then we have some special rules. The 4 town hexes of Lauron is impossible terrain. So this is impossible. Marius Legion's rule is in effect for both armies, meaning both mediums and heavy infantry will have missile capability of 1 die if they stand still or move. Then we have the Hereinus ambush force. It's a part of the Sertorian army. It begins the battle in the Sertorian left map section. The ambush force may be ordered from the first turn and onward. No delay is imposed. Hereinus units must retreat toward the Sertorian map edge. So basically these guys are just, they are just deployed as a regular force basically. We can use them right away. Okay, so let's look at the army composition here, where we have the let's move it a bit. towards me. So let's start with the Pompeian Army. And from there, I could mention, by the way, I have bought these wooden hexes that gives a bit of a 3D effect to the mountains or hills, which I think it's pretty neat. I like it really much. It gives a bit more, you can pimp your basic commands and colors board by those. And these guys fits pretty good into the hexes of all the commands and colors games, except Red Alert, I believe, but there's no hills there on the other hand. Anyway, so let's start from the left. We have a game called a guy called Petraeus here, and he is with a medium heavy cavalry. I guess these are the half of the force of the cavalry, 1,000 men that Pompeius brought with him. The other cavalry unit is over there. Then we have 2 medium heavy infantry and a slinger unit in between them. Then we have the center section with Pompey or Pompeius himself. Pretty much legionaries all the way, 5 of them. Then we have the right hand flank with a guy called Hereinus. 2 legionaries, 1 attached. The other cavalry, as I mentioned, and then some light bows. So that's it. And, well, quality is good here. We have loads of medium heavies here. I think it's, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them, all in all. Pretty many, I would say. So, tough army for the Sertorians to handle, actually. Then we have the Sertorian army. Here we have the city of Lauron, by the way. Square there. So we have their right-hand side. We have Perpenna, one of the Sertorian generals, who also, as I said, will, order the assassination of Sertorius eventually at the party he held. Anyway, he's a leader of a cavalry force here, so it's 2 medium heavies and a light cavalry. In front of them, we see a light bow unit. I think these might also be kind of a besieging force here. But these are the guys who attacked as the ambush also was launched, so the Pompeian army got caught between the cavalry charges and kind of the anvil of Hereinus here. Okay, so in the center we have, of course, Sertorius himself, together with 2 heavy infantry. That's pretty cool. So those are Sertorius veterans and since many years. We have 2 auxilia, a medium heavy, could be legionaries that Perpenna brought with him. Also these auxilia, I think, is Hispanic troops and Lusitanians. We have 2 units of slingers here, and we have one of them on a hill, which I read maybe in the scenario info actually that this hill was fought over pretty much. So both sides tried to get control of that, but Sertorians managed to get there first. Then we have Hereinus ambush force. 2 warrior units. Maybe, I mentioned before, I wondered why did they choose to have warriors here, because I was under the impression that Sertorius actually sent some real, veteran of his veterans over here. But it could be that this designer of this scenario chose these guys because they can move 2 hexes and attack. So maybe just to give that, ambush effect. Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe these are some Celtiberian warriors. Who knows? Then we have 2 auxilia, Hereinus himself attached to one of them. And then we also have a light infantry here. And that's it. So in numbers, we see that the Sertorian army is bigger, but in quality, I would lean to maybe the Pompeian army, but we have the heavies over there. We have, well, maybe, yeah, I would say besides the heavies, these guys are a bit more of these higher quality troops on this side. So for tactics then, well, if we start with Pompey, I believe, well, I think both sides are pretty interested in looking what's happening here, because this can be a disaster if these guys don't get away before the ambush is launched. So I might start, if I get a card on my right-hand side, to move across here towards the center, getting away from these warrior attacks, if I get a chance. Otherwise, pretty much, I think, link up the troops and just attack. I mean, as I said, Pompey will rely on the better quality, so he wants to get in there, fight it out, and just hit hard, you know. As for Sertorius, again, they would be very happy to start the battle over here, I'm sure. And if I get the chance, I will attack here. I mean, I can probably kill that cavalry unit. And since I have warriors, we could momentum advance and attack again. And we could do all that with leader support in the first attack, because we could get the leader behind them, you know, to, let's say we can order 3 troops here. I will rush up with the warriors and get these guys behind, so we get the leader support in the attacks. That could be really, really devastating. On the other hand, any battlebacks these guys will also enjoy the leader support. So it could be a carnage over here. That's it. But after that is done, I think, well, of course, we need to fight it out. And in the center, if we could link up with these guys and attack the center, if we could cripple these guys, then link up with the center section, Sertorius and Hereinus linking up, we could for sure take on Pompeius' center over here as well. Over here, we might just look for a good moment to charge with the cavalry. In the meantime, we could harass them with bows and the light cavalry, I believe. And we also have some harassment troops here. I mean, we have slingers. Let's say we cannot order these guys turn 1. We could maybe harass firing at the different units here with slingers and bows. Let's see. That's the plan. And 7 banners is the goal. And Sertorius will start. So we check his cards in slot A and B. So we have light troops. We had 2 units left. That could be something. At least the warriors could be ordered by that. But we wouldn't get the leader support with us. A bit bad, but I think I might play that anyway. Let's see what we can play though. Okay, that's a CDE, so it would not be any of these cards. Let's see, let's hope we get anything else on the left-hand side. Leadership, well, that's it, I believe. I think I want to have that. Okay, 3 left is good as well. And a line command, I'm not interested in that because I want to move 2 hexes. So I think I'm going to do the leadership with any section. That's pretty good, because that means I can order loads of troops over on this side. So first of all, it will be the leader and the warriors. And let's take these auxilia with us. The lights will just stay here for now. So the warriors rush into battle. They will aim at that cavalry unit there first. Hereinus will keep himself on the hill here, but probably he will not fight. I mean, he could maybe, depending on how things goes, he might do a missile attack. Same here actually. Or wait a minute, they cannot do the missile attack if they move 2, right? So no battle here. He will just provide the leader support here. Like that. So let's start with the right-hand guy from this side, and we'll attack that cavalry. It's 4 dice, and we have leader support. And these guys cannot evade. So that will be 1 and 2 hits and a flag. So let's take 2 hits first. But the flag they can ignore since they are... sorry, here's the Roman casualties. The flag they can ignore because they are supported. And now they will battle back with 3, and they also have leader support. That's actually 2 hits and the flag. The flag these guys can ignore since they are full strength warriors, and they also supported. But that was pretty much an exchange. So we ignore that flag. They have a next one. They will attack the same target with 4 dice, leader support. We got the hit. The cavalry is down. We got the first Sertorian victory banner. We can go in and attack again, and I think I will... If I attack there, they will evade down here. If I attack those guys, they are those supported, but they can battle back with leader support. We don't have that anymore. This is crazy. And if I attack here, we might get that leader. They can also ignore 1 flag. Still, I think I'll actually attack the leader's unit there. Hereinus, that is. So it's attack there. No leader support though. Let's hope we get lots of hits anyway. Bad roll. 3 greens and a flag. The flag they can ignore, they have the leader, so they will battle back with 4. With leader support. So they got in 3 hits. Ouch. That was bad. Bad roll by that second warrior attack there. But still alive though. But it got a bit better than they thought actually. I mean, the Pompeians are pretty happy with the result, I believe. Okay, so we replace the card over there. And then we check what Pompeius has in slot A and B. 3 in the center and medium troops. Medium troops, I think I would be happy because I could, attack here as well. So let's see what we can play. Okay, that's... Okay. Tactics units or lowest order count. I mean, this would be equal to my command, which is 5, and this would be 3. So actually it needs to be 3 in the center, which is a bit bad for Pompey because he cannot reply here then. So for the narrative, that's cool because maybe we can imagine that those are surprised and they are, just defending here now, managing a defensive formation against the ambush force here. So they cannot really go on the counterattack. So we need to do something else, and that's 3 units center. But that we can do, of course. Let's see. Let's take these 3 units. So I will move up here. I'm actually gonna throw some pila, that's why I'm doing this. And then these guys just follow. Let's try to get those guys out from that hilltop there. So let's start here. It's 1 die against that slinger. Nothing. The other guy at the other slinger. Nothing. Replace the card. And we go over to Sertorius. That's an A, B, or C. So we have 2 units left, meaning these guys. We have 2 units center, we could fire back. Or we have the light troops. Interesting. Well, actually, we have also the C card. I haven't... Okay, that's a mounted charge. It's these guys, but they can't really reach any enemies yet. But that will be a nice one to have in the C slot. I mean, the C slot is pretty often coming up, right, in the when you roll the dice. So that's pretty cool. So we might do a nice charge later on. But now we need to do 2 over here, 2 in the center, or the light troops. Well, the nice thing with the light troops would be we can fire here, we could fire there, and we could also bring in some troops here for the battle. I might do that. I might play the light troops. Yeah. Let's do that then. Because that's actually 6 light troops. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So these guys will stay, they will just bombard the enemy. Here's the question. Do we dare to go down and attack that leader unit there with 3 dice? Or should we just fire at him? I mean, he's very dangerous in the counter, I mean in the battle back, you know. If I choose to fire at him, I could get these guys in place and I would get 3 dice, 2 from here and 1 from the light infantry. If I attack, I would get 1 from the ranged and then I could do a close combat with 3 dice. Let's do this. I dare to do that. So we go here. These guys will actually step down and attack. These guys will go 1 step and do a javelin throw. So let's start here. So 1 die against that bow unit. That's a flag. So he's not supported, so he needs to retreat 2 hexes. He can only retreat 1, and then he needs to take 1 block of casualties. It's those guys. Then we attack from here, 1 die against Hereinus. That's a miss, fortunately. Would have been nice to get the blue there. And then I actually gonna do the attack. I dare to do it. It's 3 dice. And let's see what happens. Well, I think I could be happy. I got 2 hits on these legionaries. That's pretty valuable. And we're also gonna check Hereinus' fate in this battle. He's fine, so they will retaliate with 4 dice. I can ignore 2 flags, so I should not need, I need to retreat in that direction with Hereinus. So they also got in 2 hits, no flags. So pretty much an exchange. I think Hereinus could be happy with that. I mean, more valuable troops dying on that side, actually. But we need to check Hereinus' fate in this battle. He might fall, actually. Let's see. Nope, he's fine. But that's not all. We're gonna do some other firing. Actually, we could fire from here at the same target. I should have done that before I attacked, actually. But let's do it now. I'm gonna attack from here towards Hereinus. 2 dice. And I got a hit. Can you believe it? Getting some stones and lead from behind here. That's pretty cool. We need to check Hereinus again. This time it was closer. And he's only at 1 block left here, so looking a bit problematic for Pompeius' forces over there. He's done, so this guy will fire. Let's take the guy who's opposing him 2 dice. A flag, they need to take it, so he retreats back here. Then we have these guys, they will fire at the unsupported legionary there. Getting a hit actually, pretty good skirmishing from Sertorians. I mean, if you remember the last battle we played, the Beatus River, there were loads and loads of skirmishes there, and so this is Sertorius' specialty actually. Yeah, pretty good turn for Sertorius there. So let's go over to Pompey. That's an A, B, or C. Let's see. Align command, order medium troops, and inspire the left leadership, which would be here. I wonder... The line command is really not good because we have a gap in the line now. Medium troops then. Would be 5 of them. We could actually attack here and here. That's not too bad, to be honest. Bad thing, we cannot relocate Hereinus to the stronger unit. That would have been even better, to be honest. Yeah, that would have been something. Okay, but let's do the medium troops then anyway. I don't want to do the line command. So it's 5 medium troops, and I will actually be aggressive here while I can. So that's 2, 3. 4 and 5. So these guys will press forward. Actually, I cannot. It doesn't matter if they move or not. It's only 1 die anyway. These guys then. Who could we... I mean, we could get a few victory banners this turn with a bit of luck. We can certainly get that. Let's do like this. I go here and I go here. Let's take that last. We'll start with the Pila attacks in the center. So these guys throw the Pila against that slinger. No hit. Pompey himself tries to get those guys on the hill. Let's take this last, by the way. Let's start with here. Against the hill. 1 die. Miss. Then we take Pompey against the hill. Nothing. Well, not too good training of Pila by the veterans here. Okay, so these guys will attack that long block with 4 dice. We got 4 hits actually. So these guys go down and we get the Pompeian first victory banner. We could gain ground. I think I do. There's a reason for it, because my plan is to wade with these guys through here and then here. And if I roll some flags, these guys cannot retreat. So here's the first and maybe most important attack. It's 4 dice. We need 2 hits. We need 2 hits. Those guys can actually ignore 2 flags, so we cannot probably force them to retreat, so we need to kill them. 2 hits needed by Hereinus. And he rolled 2 leader symbols. Lucky him. So he kills the Auxilia of Sertorius, meaning we get another victory banner for Pompey. And we're also gonna check Hereinus with 1 die. He's fine though, so he needs to relocate and he goes there. Hereinus goes in, attacks again against that warrior unit. 4 dice again. And, you know, they cannot retreat, they are not supported, they are not full strength, so they cannot ignore any flags. And they retreat 2 hexes per flag, so 1 flag is enough to kill them. We didn't get any flags, but we got 3 hits. Pretty good, we killed those. And Pompey is now in a lead 3-1. And I actually want to go in here as well. Okay, that was something by the Pompeian part. Even though they're skirmishing here, well, not that good with the Pila. But I guess they are only preparing for the assault here. Now, Sertorius. The ambush force is pretty much spent. I don't know, there's a weak part here that we could attack, of course. Getting maybe 1 or 2 banners with a bit of luck. Let's see. It's a D or E. So 3 units left, or the line command. So we could actually order both these troops now. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my troops up the hill again. Up here and up here. Then I'm going to attack downhill against those guys. So now we have blocked the retreat path. And we will attack with the Auxilia. We are on a hill fighting down slope. So we get our 3 dice. We need 1 hit and we have leader support. 2 leaders rolled. The legionary unit goes down. Pretty bloody this is. And the second banner by that. And now we're gonna check if Hereinus is a casualty eventually. He isn't. So he wants to relocate to the legionary unit there. So these guys are done, but we still have a light infantry who will throw the javelins actually against the bow unit. Miss. Interesting. So these guys have again climbed the hilltop and defending up here. I think they are in a good position to defend against that legionary unit there if they want to attack. But still we have Pompey in lead, 3-2. And it's Pompey's turn. That's a C or lowest order count. I think it needs to be C then because this is a tactic card. So inspired left leadership. So pretty much we are done there right now. And Petraeus, the leader over here, will now take command. And he will order all his troops. So I'm going to start to march forward with my legionaries here. We move there, we move there, and here. Wait a minute, this is a cavalry unit. Let's bring them 1, 2, 3. And these guys is also ordered, so I'm gonna start with those 2 dice against that bow unit. Nothing. Then we got the first Pila attack. Miss. Second Pila attack. Miss. No good skirmishing from these guys. Still. Replace the card and go over to Sertorius again. Also DNE. Meaning 3 units left. Wait a minute. I played that one. Yeah, I played that one. So we're actually gonna get a new one over here. I forgot to put it in the discard pile. So it's 3 units right, meaning here, or the line command, which could be these guys actually. That's interesting. We could also start moving forward Sertorius himself with a line command, linking up also with the slingers here. That could be interesting. Yeah. Or the 3 units over here. We could place our... I mean, if I would play 3 units over here, I could place my cavalry in a good position to launch the mounted charge. That's tempting. That's actually very, very tempting to do. So I believe I'll do that. I don't want to use the line command for these guys. I think I'll wait for a left activation card. You know, I don't want to spend a line command just for these two, because I know I have a left card over there, so eventually we can activate those guys. So I'm going to do the 3 units right. Starting to prepare for the cavalry charge. And let's see how we're going to do that. So it's going to be these guys, and these guys. Let's see now. Where could we go? I think I could do something like this. And like that. So, start with my light cavalry, throwing the javelins against this unsupported legionary unit. Forcing them to retreat. Good thing is they cannot, well, they can move up and throw the pila, of course. Then we have these guys. They will... Oh, that was a bit of a bad move, actually, because now I cannot reach anybody with those guys with a cavalry charge. That sucks. Anyway, it's done already. So let's fire 2 dice against that already harmed legionary units. No, nothing more in casualty-wise for those guys, so they are good. Replace the card there. And then eats the Romans. Tactic cards or lowest order count. And now we have only 1 card up. I think there's a special rule for that. Let's see. If there's none or only 1 face up cards in the display, flip any 1 face down. Okay, I'll do as I used to do the C card. So it will be that card or that card. So line command or an coordinated attack. What could we get by the line command? We could move up these guys for sure. With the coordinated attack, I could link up this big line with moving that unit up 1 step. We could fire with our slingers at that fragile unit there. And over here we could do a fire as well. I think I'm gonna do a coordinated attack this turn then. Put these in the center, these on my left, and my bows on the right. So these guys will march up to link, at last linking Petraeus and Pompeius there. These guys will just stay and fire, so will these guys. So let's start on this flank. I will fire against the light with the leader. Or maybe not, I could fire... Let's try to bring down these guys from the hill. 2 dice against the auxilia. Actually, that's 2 hits. That's amazing good fire from the bows there. Very good. We could even dare to attack now. Over here, we will fire that fragile light cavalry. But no hits, though. Interesting start, though. Okay, guys. I think... Oh, just replace that card. I think I'm happy with the first session by that. Interesting start. What have you seen? Lots of action here. Loads of casualties here. Remember, first the cavalry went. Then Hereinus did a good counterattack, killing off those warrior units there. But they have lost the legionary unit as well, and the cavalry, so loads and loads of casualties over here on both sides. And we have Pompeius in lead, 3-2 still. In the center, Pompeius has slowly started to march forward. His legionaries wanted to keep them in a line, in a nice linear formation there, even though we have one legionary unit getting a bit behind. But he has linked up with Petraeus from the left flank, who's in a bit in a more disarray because they have taken some hits from I think it must have been these guys who fired at them. And they also tried to move forward but got forced back by some flag results, so they have a bit difficulties here with forming up actually. I'm a bit worried on this flank from the red player's side, so to speak. Sertorius, even though he's only having 2 victory banners so far, I think he feels himself in control still. He has the main force still ready there. He would like to see some casualties here from the slingers before they clash, I am sure. And let's see who grabs the hill here with the heavier troops first. We'll see about that. And we'll see if Sertorius managed to launch his cavalry charge. I'm a bit unhappy with what I did. I should have moved these guys away so I have a clear path with all 3 cavalries to do the charge. Right now I cannot reach anyone with this, and that's really silly. So I need to move these guys away or move these to a better position before I can launch that. I want to make full effect of the cavalry charge, so let's see. Anyway, that's, I think, is in a nutshell what happened in this first session. So thank you for watching, and I hope you will back for part 2 of the Battle of Lauron 76 BC. Bye for now.